Okay, in last class, uniform finite rod, uniform thin rod, uniform infinite rod or long rod. Due to that, at certain distance, what is the intensity of gravitational field? Already we discussed it there. In case of arc also, in case of circular ring, semicircular ring, in different cases we discuss it. Okay, in case of circular ring, along its axis from the center at a distance r by 2, the intensity of gravitational field is maximum. At the center of the ring, the intensity of gravitational field is maximum. Along the axis at infinity also maximum. So when you move from center of the ring to infinite distance along the axis, the intensity of gravitational field gradually increases and reaches maximum at a distance r by root 2. And after that, beyond that, the intensity of gravitational field gradually decreases along the axis, and finally at infinity, the intensity of gravitational field becomes zero. Already yesterday I drawn the graph also. How intensity of gravitational field varies with distance along the axis, already I said. Okay, next. In note points, how many note points are completed in last class? Third note point was completed. Okay, fourth. Intensity of gravitational field due to solid sphere. Intensity of gravitational field due to uniform solid sphere. Uniform solid sphere. Intensity of gravitational field due to uniform solid sphere. There are different cases. Whenever the point where intensity of gravitational field to be determined lies outside the sphere. So in such case, the distance of the point from the center of the solid sphere where intensity of gravitational field to be determined is say r, when it is greater than radius of the solid sphere. When it is greater than radius of the solid sphere. Suppose here it is the uniform solid sphere. That means the volume density remains constant at any point inside it. It is the center of the solid sphere. Of course, it is radius. Mass is a capital M. Okay. From the center at a distance of small r. At this point, we had to find the intensity of gravitational field. That is our aim. That is our aim. So, according to shell theory, there are two shell theorems are there. According to first shell theory, whenever the point where intensity to be determined lies outside the given mass or outside the given solid sphere, then the entire solid sphere can be treated as a point mass with mass at its center of mass or center of the sphere. So as this point lies outside the solid sphere, then at this point, due to this mass or due to the solid sphere, in order to find the intensity at this point, you imagine this as a point mass at its center. Okay, then whenever the capital mass is here at the center, due to this, what is the intensity of gravitational field at this point? So that is equal to E is equal to, already due to point mass at this point, intensity of gravitational field is derived now. What is the formula for that? G into capital mass capital by distance square, that means r square. This is the intensity of gravitational field at any point outside the solid sphere. Suppose if this point lies on the surface of the solid sphere, that means when this point lies on the surface of the solid sphere, then distance of the point from the center now is equal to radius of the solid sphere only. That means here, suppose the point where intensity to be determined lies on the surface of the sphere only. At this point only, we have to find the intensity of gravitational field. In this case, the distance of the point from the center is equal to radius of the solid sphere only. Of course, mass is capital. In that case, in this formula, instead of smaller, you write substitute capital. That's all. So intensity of gravitational field at this point is equal to Gm by, instead of smaller, you write capital, because smaller is equal to capital, no, r square. This is the intensity of gravitational field on the surface of the solid sphere. So the important one is when the point where intensity to be determined is inside the solid sphere. It is outside. It is outside. It is on surface. Okay, it is within the sphere, inside the sphere or within the sphere. Okay, it is within the sphere. It is within the sphere. Okay. Within sphere. So now in this case, you see, it is very, very important one. It is the solid sphere of mass, capillum and radius capillar. Okay, it is the center of the solid sphere. Of course, it is radius capillar. Suppose if you want to find the intensity of gravitational field at this point, we had to find the intensity of gravitational field at this point, which is at a distance smaller from the center. Which is at a distance smaller from the center. By taking this distance as the radius and O as the center, you imagine a solid sphere here. You imagine a solid sphere. Here you see, at this point, the intensity of gravitational field only due to this mass enclosed by this part of the solid sphere only. The intensity of gravitational field exists at this point. Due to the mantle part, that means this is the surrounding part. This is called mantle part. Due to mantle part at this point, suppose you forget the solid sphere. Due to mantle part, at this point, suppose if you find the intensity of gravitational field, that becomes 0 because intensity of gravitational field is towards the center only, towards the center of the sphere only. Suppose if the solid sphere is removed, then if you want to find the intensity of gravitational field, net intensity of gravitational field at this point becomes 0. That means due to the mantle part at this point, in this direction, there is no force acts. That's why due to the solid sphere only, in this solid sphere, whatever the mass lies, due to this mass only, at this point, the intensity of gravitational field exists at this point. According to Shell second theorem. According to Shell first theory, if any point where intensity to be determined lies outside the solid sphere, then the point the total mass of the solid sphere can be imagined as a point mass at its center. If you want to find the second, that is the Shell first theorem. Next, according to Shell, these are the two laws. These are the two laws. Okay. According to Shell second theory, if the intensity of a gravitational field to be determined lies within the solid sphere, in such case, by taking the distance of the point from the center as the radius, when you imagine a solid sphere with the center of the center as the center of this part, then at this point the net intensity of gravitational field exists due to this solid mass in the solid sphere only, not due to the mass in the mantle part. Okay, here already later I will prove this also. Due to this mantle part, at this point the intensity of gravitational field is 0. Okay, that's why due to this solid sphere only, we had to find the intensity of gravitational field. How we can find? How we can find the intensity of gravitational field due to this part at this point? Okay, suppose the mass of this part is say m dash. Mass of this part is say m dash. Here this is a solid sphere of mass m dash and radius r no. For this solid sphere, it is the point lies on the surface. That's why at this point, what is the intensity of gravitational field means E is equal to G into mass of the solid sphere m dash by distance square means r square. But we are given this capillum and capillar. M dash is not given. So we had to convert m dash in terms of m and r. Okay, this is equal to G by r square into what is the mass of the this solid sphere? Mass of the solid sphere means, suppose the density of the solid sphere is say, density of entire sphere is say rho. Density of entire sphere is say rho. Rho means mass of the entire solid sphere by volume, 4/3 pi capillar cube. Okay, it is the density of the entire solid sphere. As it is the uniform solid sphere, density remains same everywhere. That's why even in this sphere also, density of the solid sphere remains same. That's why G by r square into m dash means mass of this solid sphere means volume into density of the solid sphere. We can write now volume of this sphere means 4/3 pi smaller cube. Volume means 4/3 pi smaller cube into density means rho. Okay, here therefore this is equal to G by r square into 4 pi smaller cube by 3 into density means m by 4/3 pi cube. 4/3 pi capillar cube. So here 4 pi by 3 cancel, r square cube cancel. Therefore, intensity of gravitational field at any point inside is equal to G into capillum, small r is there, by capillar cube. This is the formula for intensity of gravitational field at any point inside the solid sphere. Here you see, at any point outside the solid sphere, intensity of gravitational field is inversely proportional to r square. On the surface of the solid sphere, intensity of gravitational field is this one. at any point inside the solid sphere, here on the surface means this one, at any point inside the solid sphere, no doubt for the given solid sphere, m is constant, R is constant. So at any point inside the solid sphere, the intensity is directly proportional to smaller only, no? The intensity is directly proportional to smaller. Okay, now suppose these all points where intensities are determined lies along x-axis, say we have to measure the intensity of gravitational field on x-axis due to solid sphere with the center of the solid sphere as the origin. So how I can represent? This can be represented graphically as, you see, suppose this is the center of the solid sphere, half mass capillum and radius capillary. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. You take the intensity of gravitational field along y-axis and the distance of the point from the center of the solid sphere where intensity to be determined, that is along x-axis. Okay, exactly at the center of the solid sphere, what is the intensity? That is case D. That is case D. When small r is equal to, you see, whenever the point where intensity to be determined lies at this point only, that means this point lies here only. Small r is equal to 0, no? When small r is equal to 0, that means at center. This small r is equal to 0 means it is the inside, it is the point lies inside only. Inside the formula is this one. So this is equal to E is equal to small r 0. That's why Gm by Rq, whatever it may be, as a small r 0, intensity of gravitational field at this point is equal to 0. If, as we know, intensity of gravitational field is equal to acceleration due to gravity only. Here also, everywhere, here intensity of gravitational field means acceleration due to gravity. Here intensity of gravitational field means acceleration due to gravity at this point. Here intensity of gravitational field at this point means acceleration due to gravity at this point. Here intensity of gravitational field at the center means that is acceleration due to gravity at the center. So from this it is clear that the intensity of gravitational field becomes 0 at the center of the solid sphere. That means acceleration due to gravity is 0. Whenever acceleration due to gravity is 0, then what is the weight of the body? Suppose if you keep a body having mass small m at the center of the earth. Earth is the solid sphere. So at the center of the earth, as the, of course, approximately earth can be treated as a solid sphere. So at the center of the earth, as the acceleration due to gravity is 0, weight m into z, as z is 0, weight is 0. That's why when you keep the body at the center of the earth, it behaves like a weightlessness body. It behaves like a weightlessness body. Weight is 0 there, as z is equal to 0 or intensity of gravitational field is 0. Now we have to draw the graph between E and R. Tell me, when you move away from the center, like this, what about the intensity of gravitational field? When we move away from the center along the x-axis, how does the intensity of gravitational field varies? Tell me. Here, this is the point. Up to this point means it is x is equal to R region. X is equal to R. Okay. Up from the center up to surface of the solid sphere, how does the intensity of gravitational field changes? From center of the solid sphere up to surface means the point lies within the solid sphere only. Within the solid sphere means intensity is directly proportional to R, no? Suppose when you take R along x-axis, positive x-axis, because we have taken R along positive x-axis, no? Then what is the direction of the intensity of gravitational field? Suppose if you take the intensity of gravitational field in this direction, sorry, distance of the point in this direction from the center, then intensity of gravitational field is in opposite direction, means in this direction, no? Towards the center, no? But everywhere, the intensity of gravitational field is towards the center only. Here also, the intensity of gravitational field is towards center only. Everywhere, the intensity of gravitational field is towards the center only. Here also, you see, when R is in this direction, the intensity of gravitational field is towards center. Towards the center means that is in negative direction. Negative direction means up to radius of the solid sphere. Up to radius of the solid sphere, the intensity of gravitational field gradually increases and becomes maximum when small r is equal to capital R. When, of course, when small r, here is small r, it is small r is equal to capital R. Small r value capital R కి ఈక్వల్ అయ్యేంత వరకు మనం ఈ ఫార్ములానే యూజ్ చేయాలి. దట్స్ వై E is proportional to R. కాకపోతే R along positive x axis intensity of gravitational field నెగిటివ్ వాల్యూ ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి, అంటే ఇటువైపు ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి E మనం నెగిటివ్ తీసుకున్నాం ఇక్కడ ఈ డైరెక్షన్ లో. నెక్స్ట్, when the point lies on the surface, the intensity of gravitational field is maximum but negative value. ఓకే, అంతే ఇంటెన్సిటీ ఆఫ్ గ్రావిటేషన్ ఫీల్డ్ మాక్సిమం కాదో చూడండి. ఎందుకంటే సర్ఫేస్ ఆఫ్ ది ఎర్త్ మీద సర్ఫేస్ ఆఫ్ ది సాలిడ్ స్పియర్ కి వచ్చేంత వరకు కూడా ఈ ఆర్ వాల్యూ పెరుగుతూనే ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి ఈ బికమ్స్ మాక్సిమం ఆన్ ది సర్ఫేస్ ఆఫ్ ది సాలిడ్ స్పియర్. ఓకే, బియాండ్ దట్ when you move further, when r value is greater than capital R, in such case when you move in this direction, that point lies outside the solid sphere. At any point outside the solid sphere, the intensity is inversely proportional to r square. Intensity is inversely proportional to r square. That's why you will get a curvature. You will get a curvature like this. And when r is equal to infinity, e is equal to 0. That's why we have to draw the graph like this, so that this end of the graph is almost all parallel to this distance axis. That indicates these two meet at infinity. At that time only intensity of gravitational field becomes 0. So this is the nature of the graph. It is the nature of the graph. Y which is constant? Varshit Reddy, which is up to r increase, y constant, which is constant? No one is constant here, no? It is this solid sphere or earth, both are same. Any planet, you can be treated as any planet. Okay, from center up to the surface of the earth or surface of the solid sphere, that means that point lies inside. That's why intensity is directly proportional to r. But intensity is towards center, whereas distance is in this direction. Intensity is negative direction. That's why you have to take the negative value up to small r is equal to capital R. After that, when the distance increases, that means outside the solid sphere, the intensity is inversely proportional to r square. That's why we got a curve like this. So exact at this point, when r is equal to capital R, intensity of gravitational field, here it is negative value, no? Here negative value, 0 means that is the maximum. Sorry, gm by, what is the value we got here? On the surface, gm by r square, no? Gm by capital R square. Here on the surface, gm by capital R square. This is maximum value. Here exactly at this point, the intensity of gravitational field is maximum, but opposite direction. That's why at this point, intensity of gravitational field is maximum. Therefore, E is maximum on the surface of the E maximum only on the surface of the any solid sphere or planet. Intensity of gravitational field అనేది surface of the solid sphere మీదే maximum ఉంటుంది. When you go inside or when you go outside, away from the center of the solid sphere, from the surface, then intensity of gravitational field decreases. So intensity of gravitational field is maximum only on the surface. Why graph is negative means, you see, this is a solid sphere and center of the solid sphere coincides with the origin. The distance of the point where intensity to be taken measured, that is taken along x-axis. Then here, suppose at this point, if you want to find the intensity, then intensity is in this direction, no, towards negative axis, no? That's why intensity is negative. Intensity is taken negative. R ఇటువైపు ఉంటే intensity దానికి opposite direction లో ఉంటుంది. That's why I have taken negative value. Intensity I have taken negative value because of that reason only. There is no other importance. Suppose if they ask to draw the magnitude of intensity, if they ask to draw the graph for intensity of gravitational field in case of solid sphere for magnitude only, then we can draw at the top only like this. Magnitude means magnitude is always positive. We can draw like this. Here this negative sign represents when r is in this direction, intensity of gravitational field is in opposite direction. That's why it is negative. That is only the reason. Even in case of ring also we have taken like that only, no? Even in case of ring also we have taken like that only. In case of ring, you see, I have drawn the graph like this for E and R. I drawn the graph like this. I drawn the graph like this. Even in case of ring also, here exactly it is R by root 2. Because in this direction where R increases, intensity of gravitational field first increases and reaches maximum, then decreases in opposite direction, negative direction. That's why I have taken negative only. No. When R is equal to infinity means, in that case, the intensity is inversely proportional to R square. When R is equal to up to capital R, intensity is proportional to R, because when R is equal up to small r is equal to capital R means that point lies inside the solid sphere. Inside the solid sphere means we have to use this formula. When R greater than capital R, that means outside. Whenever the point lies outside where intensity to be determined, we have to use this formula. Okay, right. up to surface of the solid sphere. Up to surface of the solid sphere means that point lies inside only. That's why E is proportional to R, because these all are constant now. That's why E is proportional to R. That's why if you draw the graph between this and this, it is a straight line. Parallel అంటే ఇక్కడ లాస్ట్ లో ఇన్ఫైనైట్ దగ్గర ఇంటెన్సిటీ 0 అవుతుంది కాబట్టి ఇన్ఫైనైట్ డిస్టెన్స్ we cannot draw. That's why I drawn almost all parallel to this distance axis at end. Okay, right. It is the intensity of gravitational field due to uniform solid sphere. Same type of formulas are there even in case of electrostatics also in second year syllabus. Next D, in the same, in case of solid sphere only, D. We discuss next E, because 4 points are completed in the solid sphere. Fifth point, if the volume density of solid sphere varies with distance r from the center according to the equation rho is equal to rho naught into r. Suppose if the density of the solid sphere varies with the distance according to the equation rho is equal to rho naught r. Rho naught is constant, of course. Rho naught is constant. Okay, according r. Then intensity of gravitational field on surface of solid sphere of radius Kepler is equal to dash. This is the case. Okay. So here now, is the solid sphere is the uniform solid sphere or not here from this data? Is the solid sphere is uniform solid sphere or not? No, because the density is not constant everywhere inside the solid sphere. It increases with the distance. Rho increases with the distance. Rho is equal to rho naught into r. That implies the inside the solid sphere, the density is directly proportional to r. That's why from the center, when you move away, the volume density gradually increases and it is maximum at the surface. So it is not uniform solid sphere if it is like this, because it varies with the distance from the center. Here r is the distance from the center, no? That's why density is 0 at the center, and when you move away from the center inside the solid sphere, density also increases. That's why it is not uniform solid sphere. That's why I erased that part. Okay, now in this case, on the surface of the solid sphere, what is the intensity of gravitational field? Or at any point outside, what is the intensity of gravitational field? Okay, or at any point inside the solid sphere, what is the intensity of gravitational field? So in this first case, suppose this is the solid sphere, small r less than Kepler, that means inside. How we can find inside? Same cases. Suppose here you see, here this is the solid sphere, it is the center O, and this is the radius Kepler. From the center, we cannot say the mass. What is the mass? We cannot say, because density is given. We cannot say what is the mass of the solid sphere. We have to derive. Here you see, when you move away from the center in this direction, at this point, suppose at this point, here this point is at a distance smaller. Then by taking center, by taking this O as the center of the solid sphere as the center, and R is the radius. You imagine a solid sphere here like this. You imagine one spherical element. You imagine one spherical element like this. One spherical element like this. Okay. Now, at this point, what is the intensity of gravitational field we have to find? Already I said, because here you see in this element is the volume density remains same at each and every point or not? You tell me. In this spherical element here of thickness smaller, radius smaller and thickness dr, is the volume density remains same at every point or not? Because in this element each and every point on the element is at equidistant from the center. At equidistance r, density is same, no? That's why at every point density remains the same. At every point density remains same. So here radius is say smaller and thickness is say dr. Okay. So at this point means it is the, suppose if you imagine the solid sphere of radius r, at this point, suppose if you want to find the intensity, E is equal to question mark here. Then in this solid sphere, what is the mass enclosure you find? Due to that mass only at this point, the intensity of gravitational field lies. Okay. That's why at this point, to find the mass of this solid sphere, first you consider the element. Mass of that element is say dm. So mass of the element dm is equal to, what is the surface area of the element? As it is the solid sphere, definitely it is the spherical shell. This is the spherical shell of radius r and thickness dr. That's why, what is the volume of mass of the spherical shell? What is the volume of the mass of the spherical shell? ఈ spherical shell లో మాస్ ఉన్న పార్ట్ యొక్క వాల్యూమ్ ఎంత? థిక్నెస్ ఆఫ్ ది వాల్ ఇస్ dr. రేడియస్ స్మాలర్ అంటే ఇన్నర్ రేడియస్ అయినా అవుటర్ రేడియస్ అయినా స్మాలర్, ఎందుకంటే థిక్నెస్ వెరీ స్మాల్. అప్పుడు what is the volume of the material of the hemispherical shell here? That means surface area 4 pi small r square into thickness gives volume only, no? Into thickness gives volume, no? At a distance small r, the density of the solid sphere is already we are having this formula. That's why it is the volume into density rho that gives the mass of this element considered. So dm is equal to 4 pi small r square dr into rho means rho naught into small r. This is equal to 4 pi rho naught into r cube into dr. It is the mass of the element considered. So this type of elements can be imagined from 0 to small r, no? From 0 to small r, this type of elements having different radii can be imagined. So what is the total mass occupied by this solid sphere? So in order to find the total mass occupied by this solid sphere, actually this entire sphere is a capital M. This is only small m only. So small m is equal to integral dm between the limits. This type of elements can be imagined from r is equal to 0 to r is equal to small r only. So r is equal to 0 to small r. This is equal to integral dm means 4 pi rho naught r cube dr. Limits r is equal to 0 to smaller. So because when you know the mass of the sphere, then at this point what is the intensity means directly we can use the formula for intensity of gravitational field on the surface of the solid sphere. That's why I am finding the mass of this solid sphere. So if you integrate them, you will get mass. So mass m is equal to 4 pi rho naught into integral, sorry, it is r cube only, no? R cube. It is r cube only. 4 pi rho naught into r cube only. Okay. R cube only. So when you do integration, 4 pi r rho naught is constant, you keep outside. Integral r cube dr means r to the power of 4 by 4. Limits 0 to smaller. Therefore, mass of this part of the solid sphere is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught. Sorry. 4 pi rho naught. 4 pi rho naught into, when you substitute the limits, you will get r to the power of 4 by 4. 4 cancel. Therefore, mass is equal to pi rho naught into r to the power of 4. This is equation 1. So this is the mass of this solid sphere. Okay. At this point, what is the intensity of gravitational field means? It is the point lies on the surface of this only, no? Surface of this solid sphere only, no? So at that point, intensity is equal to intensity, suppose this is the point say P. At this point intensity EP. EP is equal to G into mass of that part into distance of this point from the center square, because it is a solid, this is a part solid sphere. It is a, for this solid sphere, it is the surface point. That's why G into mass of this part by radius square means R square by R square. That is called G by R square into M means pi rho naught R to power 4. Therefore, EP is equal to R square cancel, then G rho naught pi R square. It is the intensity of gravitational field at this point. Suppose on the surface of the sphere here, what is the intensity of gravitational field? This is a Q. So at this point, what is the intensity of gravitational field? So we had to find the mass of this entire solid sphere. Because at this point, to find the intensity of gravitational field, by taking this distance from the center means capital R as the radius, if you imagine the solid sphere, what is the mass of the solid sphere? Due to mass of this entire solid sphere, at this point intensity means this is the point lies on the surface of the solid sphere. That's why Gm by R square we can use. But what is capital M? We had to find. So in order to find the capital M, to find the total mass of the solid sphere, this mass of the element can be mass of the element when integrate between small r is equal to 0 to capital R, then you'll get the mass of the entire sphere. That's why total mass M is equal to integral dm from R is equal to 0 to capital R. Previously, up to this only, up to this radius of the sphere only, we calculated the mass. That's why you have taken limits up to this only. Now we have to find the total mass of the solid sphere of radius capital R. That's why from 0 to capital R we have to integrate. This is equal to integral dm means dm means 4 pi rho naught into r cube dr. Limits 0 to capital R. So 4 pi rho naught you write outside into r cube, means when you do integration you will get r to the power 4 by 4. When you substitute the limits you will get r to the power 4 by 4. 4 cancel, so pi rho naught r to the power 4. It is the mass. Therefore, on the surface of the solid sphere, what is the mass means EQ is equal to G into capital M by radius square. That means R square. That is equal to G by R square into capital M means pi rho naught R to the power 4. Therefore, EQ is equal to G rho naught pi R square. This is the intensity of gravitational field at this point. Suppose if you want to find the intensity of gravitational field here at this point, PQ, it is say some M. At this point, suppose if you want to find the intensity, then this distance is a smaller. Then simply at this point, intensity of gravitational field is G capital M by small r square only. G capital M by small r square. It is say point A. So at that point A, what is the intensity of gravitational field means EA is equal to G, because it is a point lies outside. When the point lies outside, then the entire mass of the solid sphere can be imagined as a point mass at its center. And due to this, what is the intensity of gravitational field? G into mass of this entire solid sphere already just we derived this capital M by this distance of the point from the center square. So small r square. That is only formula. M means you substitute this value. M is equal to, we got pi rho naught r to the power 4. That is the answer. So in this way, lambda x, Sriram, lambda x and Anna. Okay. It is about solid sphere. Of course, this relation may be in different ways. Suppose the same relation may be given as rho is equal to 1 minus rho naught by r. It is may be given like this. Whatever the relation you have given, just instead of smaller, instead of rho, you substitute that value, that's all. And you do integration as this method. Okay. Next, hollow sphere. Next, previously, of course, next here, fifth one, hollow, uniform hollow sphere. Okay, before this, just I want to say one thing. Already in case of thin uniform rod of length L, of length L at a distance. Of course, this length of the rod is considered as this one, and this is taken as A. And at this point, we calculate the intensity of gravitational field. No, because of finite length on the line joining the length of the rod at a distance small a from the nearest end. What is the intensity of gravitational field? అదేగా డిస్కస్ చేసేది శ్రీరామ్, దాని గురించే డిస్కస్ చేసేది శ్రీరామ్. ఈ డిస్కస్ చేస్తా, హాలోస్పియర్ గురించి డిస్కస్ చేస్తా. బీ వెయిట్, బీ పేషెంట్. ఓకే రైట్. ఇక్కడ అంటే ఒక పాయింట్ గుర్తుకొచ్చింది, ఎగ్జామ్లో అడిగితే మళ్ళీ మీరు రాయరేమని చెప్తున్నా. చెప్తా ఇప్పుడు నెక్స్ట్ ఇమీడియట్లీ, జస్ట్ 1 minute. ఇది యూనిఫామ్ థిన్ రాడ్ హ్యావింగ్ ఫైనైట్ లెంత్. ఓకే, థిన్ రాడ్ ఆఫ్ ఫైనైట్ లెంత్. ఈ రాడ్ యొక్క ఎండ్ దగ్గర నుంచి స్మాల్ ఏ డిస్టెన్స్ లో ఉన్న పాయింట్ దగ్గర ఇంటెన్సిటీ ఆఫ్ గ్రావిటేషన్ ఫీల్డ్. వాట్ ఈస్ ద ఇంటెన్సిటీ ఆఫ్ గ్రావిటేషన్ ఫీల్డ్ at this point means already we derived the formula for intensity of gravitational field at this point due to thin rod of length L. By integration method already we derived, no? Yeah, gm by a into L plus a we got. Okay, what are the formula? That formula we derived, no? Here, what is the direction of that intensity of gravitational field due to this first rod? Suppose this length is say L1. What is the intensity of gravitational field at this point? That is towards the rod only, no? In this direction we have, no? Towards the rod. Okay. Are you okay? ఇక్కడ మాస్ ఇటువైపు ఉంది కాబట్టి ఇంటెన్సిటీ ఆఫ్ గ్రావిటేషన్ ఫీల్డ్ ఇటువైపుకేగా ఉండేది. ఇది లీనియర్ బాడీ కాబట్టి ఇటువైపుకే కదా. నెక్స్ట్, సపోజ్ ద సేమ్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ రాడ్ ఈస్ కెప్ట్ హ్యావింగ్ డిఫరెంట్ లెంత్. హియర్ దిస్ ఈస్ another rod of length L2. This is kept at the distance maybe A or any other, whatever the value. Okay. So due to this point, at this point, due to this rod, what is the intensity of gravitational field means? At this point, due to this rod, we can find the intensity of gravitational field. No? So for this, what is the formula we got? Tell me. E1 is equal to G into mass of this rod M1 by this A into L1 plus A we got. Am I right? Is it correct or not? Tell me. Okay, right. Similarly, for this also we can write E2 also equal to like this. Sometimes you will be given, sometimes due to thin rod only. But here, while deriving this formula, I have taken small a as the distance of the point from the nearer end of the rod, but lies on the line joining the rod, length of the rod. Okay, I have taken this length as a and this is L1. Sometimes in the problem, the length of the rod is L will be given, and from the center of the rod at a distance small r, what is the intensity of gravitational field? They may ask. What is the intensity of gravitational field? They may ask. Okay, therefore, in that case, same formula, how we can write? Mass is M1 only. Mass is M1 only. G into M1 by, from the center they asked. From the center r distance ante, ఇక్కడ length of the rod L అనుకోండి, అప్పుడు ఇది L/2 అవుతుందిగా, ఇది L/2 అంటే అప్పుడు A ఎంత అవుతుందండి? దిస్ లెంత్ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు R, దిస్ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు L/2. అప్పుడు A ప్లేస్ లో R minus L/2 we can write, no? At the place of A you write R minus L/2. R minus L/2 you write L/2 or L1/2, whatever it may be. Okay, L1 say, so it is L1/2. So L1/2 you write into L1 plus length of the rod plus A means again R minus L1/2. This, in this way you have to write. మనం ఫార్ములా డిరైవ్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఈ లెంత్ ని ఏగా తీసుకున్నాం, సెంటర్ నుంచి కన్సిడర్ చేయాలి మనం. సపోజ్ సమ్ టైమ్స్ ఫ్రమ్ ది సెంటర్ ఎట్ ఎ డిస్టెన్స్ R, what is the intensity of gravitational field? They may ask. Then we have to change this data according to the given, change this formula according to the given data. Don't confuse here. Okay, I think you can follow now. If they ask the problem like this, I think you are in a position to do the problem. You could understand. Okay, right. Now, Sriram, halosphere. You need not worry. Advanced paper also I will discuss definitely. Some mains problems are also there. I will make a video and I will send. Already I am preparing that video. Definitely I will send. Halosphere, okay. In this halosphere, first, when small r greater than radius of the sphere, halosphere, that means outside, the point where intensity to be determined is at a distance r from the center, which is greater than capital R. that means that point lies outside the hollow sphere. It is the hollow sphere. Hollow sphere or spherical shell. This is also called as the spherical shell. Thin spherical shell, not only spherical shell, thin. Thin means the thickness is negligible, so that it is not having any inner radius, outer radius. Both inner and outer radii both are same because thin spherical shell. This is the center O. This is radius capital, mass capital. At a point smaller, which lies greater than capital, means that point lies outside. No, at this point, what is the intensity of gravitational field? Means according to Shell theorem, according to Shell first theory, whenever the point where the intensity to be determined lies outside the sphere, the total mass of the sphere, whether it is a solid sphere or a hollow sphere or spherical shell, the total mass can be imagined at the center. Due to that, you find the intensity of gravitational field. That is the intensity of gravitational field due to entire sphere. That's why E is equal to G into mass of the spherical shell by distance of that point from the center square. That means smaller square. It is the intensity of gravitational field. If the point lies on the surface, if this point lies on the surface, means suppose this is say A, this is B. If the point lies on the surface, then intensity of gravitational field at that point is equal to, formula is same, but small r is equal to capital R we have to write. So G into capital M by small r is equal to capital R. That's why capital R square you write. This is the intensity of gravitational field. Now you tell me, if small r less than capital R, that means inside the spherical shell or hollow sphere. In this case, what is the intensity of gravitational field? At this point, what is the intensity of gravitational field? By according to Shell theory, by taking this distance as the radius, you imagine a sphere, the sphere here. No doubt this sphere is also hollow sphere, no? At this point, due to the mass enclosed by this hollow sphere, whatever the intensity of gravitational field you find, that is the intensity of gravitational field at this point. So what is the mass enclosed by this spherical sphere? It is the hollow. That's why no mass is there. When no mass is there, then intensity of gravitational field at this point becomes 0. That's why intensity of gravitational field E is equal to 0 at this point. Okay. Of course, not only at this point, even at the center also. At this point also, intensity of gravitational field is equal to 0. Okay, this is the spherical shell. Next, A, B, C, it is C, no? Next, D. Suppose there are concentric spherical shells. Suppose there are 3 concentric spherical shells of masses m1, m2, m3, radii r1, r2, r3, r1, r2, r3. Then it is the center O, because the centers of all the spherical shells are coincided. That's why these are called concentric spherical shells. So at this point, suppose this point is at a distance smaller. At this point, what is the intensity of gravitational field? At this point, what is the intensity of gravitational field? At this point, what is the intensity of gravitational field? It is the point C is C. So EC is equal to question mark, EB is equal to question mark, and EA is equal to question mark. Tell me, EA first. Of course, each and every point is at the same distance from the center. Same, of course, you don't feel that this, if it is R, this is how it is R. You don't think that like that. The point C is at a distance R. In such a way, you think. Okay, now tell me where it is M1, M2. Okay, M3. Very good. Thank you. Right. Tell me EA. That means at this point, what is the intensity of gravitational field? This point is outside the first spherical shell, but this point is inside the 2 spherical shells. This one. That's why due to these 2 spherical shells, intensity of gravitational field at this point is 0. Okay. So at this point, only due to this sphere, the intensity of gravitational field is there. That is equal to G into, due to this sphere only intensity of gravitational field is there. The mass of this sphere is m1. So m1 by distance square means r square. Next, what about EB? What about EB at this point? At this point, what is the intensity of gravitational field? It is the point lies inside the third sphere. That's why due to third spherical shell, no intensity at this point. Only due to these two spherical shells, intensity of gravitational field is there. At any point, due to the spherical shell, at any point outside the spherical shell, the intensity of gravitational field due to spherical shell is always towards the center. So due to the spherical shell intensity in this direction, due to the spherical shell intensity in the same direction, as both are in the same direction, due to individual spheres, spherical shells, you find the intensity and you add them. Then due to this first spherical shell, intensity of gravitational field is gm1 by distance of this point from the center, that is equal to r square, plus due to the spherical shell at this point, intensity means gm2 by r square. Okay, suppose, okay, this is EB. Next, what about EC? So what about the intensity of gravitational field at this point C? This point is outside the all spherical shells. That's why due to all spherical shells, intensity of gravitational field exists. And moreover, at this point, due to all spherical shells, intensity of gravitational field lies along the same direction. That's why you add intensity of gravitational field at this point due to individual spheres and you add them. EC is equal, tell me, intensity of gravitational field due to first sphere is equal to G into mass m1 by distance of the point from the center square means r square, plus gm2 by r square, plus gm3 by r square. This is the intensity of gravitational field, net intensity of gravitational field. Suppose at this point, I need the intensity of gravitational field. Initially, the mass of the spherical shells are m1, m2, m3. At this point, the intensity of gravitational field is EA. When the mass of this third spherical shell or outer spherical shell is doubled, what is the intensity of gravitational field at this point? Same, because even the mass of this outer spherical shell changes, there is no dependence of intensity of gravitational field at this point due to the mass of these spheres. That's why intensity of gravitational field does not change. At this point, in order to find the intensity of gravitational field due to all spherical shells, due to all the spherical shells, intensity of gravitational field at outer point is always towards the center of the spherical shell only. No? As these are concentric spherical shells, the intensity of gravitational field at this point due to three spherical shells lies along the same direction towards the center. That's why due to individual spheres, you find the intensity of gravitational field at this point. For this spherical shell, intensity at this point is G into mass of the spherical shell m1 by distance of this point from the center square means r square. Similarly for second, third. At this point, even mass of the sphere changes. This point lies inside the sphere only. If any point lies inside the spherical shell, no intensity of gravitational field due to these spheres. So even mass becomes double or triple, whatever it may be. The intensity of gravitational field at this point is only due to the sphere. If any mass changes on the sphere, then it will be changed. Okay, Kusmakar అదే కదా చెప్తా ఉంది. Y is equal to 0 in case C means, where is C? At this point, you see, at this point, intensity of gravitational field is 0 means it is a spherical shell. At this point, intensity of gravitational field means by taking this distance as the radius, when you imagine the sphere here, is then mass enclosed by the sphere? No, whenever mass is 0, then m is 0. Whatever the distance here, as m is 0, E becomes 0. Okay, Kusmakar. Right. This is about concentric spherical shell. Suppose we are given a spherical shell. Surface mass density is equal to sigma. Surface mass density means mass per unit area. That is called surface mass density. That is equal to sigma. Radius of the sphere is scapular. It is the spherical shell. It is the spherical shell. That's why mass resides only on its surface, because thin walls, inner radius, outer radius, both are same. That's why it is having surface mass density. Okay, now at this point, what is the intensity of gravitational field? Of course, at any point inside zero, but on the surface of the sphere, what is the intensity of gravitational field? It is a this is a point A, or it is a point P. At this point, intensity is EP. At this point, intensity is EQ. This is called how much? This is called how much? Intensity. Suppose if the mass of the sphere is say capillum, then how we can write mass? Mass per unit area is sigma. Then for the given spherical shell, the surface area is 4 pi capillary square. No, for unit area, if it is the mass, for this much area, what is the mass means into sigma. Therefore, at this point, intensity of gravitational field EP is equal to G into mass of the spherical shell capillum by the radius square r square. That is equal to G by r square into M means we can write 4 pi r square sigma. So r square cancel. Therefore, EP is equal to 4 pi G into sigma. This is the intensity of gravitational field at this point, at any point on this spherical shell. At this point means, so by here at this point, which is at a distance small r say, then intensity of gravitational field at that point is equal to G into mass of the spherical shell capillum by distance square means r square. That is equal to G by small r square into M means you write this one, 4 pi capillary square into sigma. That's all. So EQ is equal to 4 pi G sigma capillary square by small r square. It is the intensity of gravitational field at this point. Intensity of gravitational field at this point. Okay. Next. Okay, in case of hollow spherical shell, what about the graph? In case of hollow spherical shell, if you draw the graph between intensity of gravitational field and distance from the center. Okay, it is x-axis, it is y-axis. Here, intensity of gravitational field is taken along y-axis, and distance of the point from the center is taken along x-axis. Of course, this is equal to exactly small r is equal to capital R. Surface. At any point inside the solid, this hollow spherical shell, what is the intensity of gravitational field? At any point inside the spherical shell, what is the intensity of gravitational field? Here, suppose this is the modulus of intensity of gravitational field. Modulus. You don't consider the negative sign. You have to take always positive. Okay, now you tell me. From the center, before reaching the surface, the intensity of gravitational field is 0 only. Just when you here, graph is along this. Because intensity of gravitational field is 0 means the graph is obtained like this, no? Here from small r is equal to 0 to capital, before reaching the point capital R, the intensity is 0. That's why you'll get the straight line like this. But whenever small r is equal to capital R, immediately the intensity of gravitational field reaches a maximum value. That is equal to E surface. Surface means Gm by capital R square at this point. But after that, when you move outside, away from the center, then intensity of gravitational field Gm by small r square, no? That means intensity is inversely proportional to small r square. That's why you will get the graph like this. And at infinity, it becomes 0. So it is the case E is equal to G capillum by small r square. That means E is inversely proportional to r square. For spherical shell, if you draw the graph between intensity of gravitational field and distance, you will get the graph like this. You will get the graph like this. Okay. Suppose if you consider the sign, then you will get the graph like this. sorry. If you consider the sign, then graph will be like this. Graph will be like this. That means if R is in positive direction, intensity of gravitational field is negative direction. That's why E value negative. That's why when you consider negative value, then you will get the graph like this. If you consider the sign, okay. So of course you don't draw this one. As modulus of E is taken, then this is the graph. Suppose if modulus is not taken, in such case, the same graph becomes like this. If the magnitude of intensity of gravitational field versus R means this is the graph. Suppose if magnitude is not given, then in such case you see up to small r is equal to capital R, the intensity of gravitational field just before reaching small r is equal to capital R, the intensity of gravitational field is 0 only. Exactly when you reach the surface, the intensity of gravitational field suddenly increases to gm by r square. So exactly at this point, gm by intensity of gravitational field is gm by capital R square. When you move away, small r greater than capital R, in such case the intensity of gravitational field decreases according to the relation E is inversely proportional to r square. That's why you'll get the graph like this. Here E is inversely proportional to r square. So for magnitude means this is the graph. With the direction, when you draw the graph, then this is the graph. This is the graph. Okay. Next. Okay, next, when a tunnel is made along the diameter. Okay, before that we have to discuss the gravitational potential energy. Gravitational potential energy, yes. Okay. Next, regarding spherical shell, points are completed. These are two important spherical shell and solid sphere, both are important one. Already ring I said. Sometimes in case of ring, they may ask like this also. There are two rings. These two are kept at certain separation so that their natural axes are coincided each other. Then where the null point is formed, null point means net intensity must be 0. That is the null point. Due to this ring, the intensity of gravitational field at this point is in this direction. Due to this ring, the intensity of gravitational field is towards the center of the ring, means in this direction. So you draw, here this distance will be given, this distance will be given. This is a x1, this is x2. The distance between these two is say r. Then x1 plus x2 is equal to small r. Then where the null point is there from the center of this ring, first ring, they may ask. At this point, you make E1, E2, both are equal in magnitude. then you substitute the formulas and you cancel them. Then you find x1 value or x2 value. X1 or x2 value. Okay. This is also important point. Once it was given in advance. Very, very important point. It is also. Okay. Next, gravitational potential energy. Gravitational potential energy or interaction potential energy. Gravitational interaction potential energy. Interaction potential energy. U. It is represented with U. Gravitational potential energy means suppose there are two bodies kept at certain separation. Due to gravitational force acts on one body due to other. In moving one body due to the other due to gravitational force of attraction, whatever the work done by the gravity, that work done by the gravity is stored in the system as the gravitational potential energy, interaction potential energy. Because due to attraction force on one body due to other only, the body gains some energy. That is called interaction potential energy. So what is that interaction potential energy? How we can derive the formula? Okay, now suppose there is a body having mass capital. Okay, the region around this body up to which their influence act is called gravitational field. That theoretically gravitational field is extended up to infinity. Now, from this body, of course, these dimensions are negligible, but in order to see the diagram clearly, I drawn more size. But radius of the sphere is not given. Radius of the sphere not given means it can be treated as a point mass. From this body, at a distance smaller, from this body cap of mass capillum, at a distance smaller, what is the interaction potential energy? Here at this point, we have to find the interaction potential energy. So to find the interaction potential energy here, to find the interaction potential energy when you keep a body of mass small m here, what is the interaction potential energy of this particle due to this? That is the interaction potential energy between the two particles, m and small m. Okay. In order to find the interaction potential energy between the two particles here, when this particle is at a distance smaller from the mass capillum, because of attraction force, gravitational force of attraction acts on the particle due to this mass capillum only. Some energy is possessed by the system of two particles. Suppose if it is fixed, then this particle possesses interaction potential energy due to this because of this gravitational force of attraction or interaction between them. How we can find this one? So in order to find the interaction potential energy, you imagine, suppose the same mass, initially it is at infinity. This mass is at infinite distance. This mass is at infinite distance. In order to move this mass from infinity to this point, in order to move this mass, point mass, to the point where interaction potential is to be determined. Of course, when you release the point here, just from at infinity, when you keep the particle here, the gravitational force of attraction between these two is zero because distance is infinity. Then gravitational force of attraction is called G capital M small m by R square means infinite square, zero. Just from this infinite position, a little bit you displace. Just from this position, just you displace. Then immediately it becomes the distance of this particle from this body is less than infinity. That's why immediately gravitational force of attraction starts acting on this one. Our interaction acts on this particle due to this one. Then because of attraction force, it starts moving in this direction. As long as the particle comes close to this body, as the distance decreases, the interaction increases and gravitational force of attraction acts on the particle increases. So what is the work done by gravitational force on this particle? In moving the particle from infinity to this point at a distance smaller, whatever the work done by gravity, that work done by gravity is stored in the particle as the potential energy when this particle is here with respect to this. That is the interaction potential energy. So we have to find the work done by gravity acts on this particle due to this, with respect to this or due to this. But as long as the body comes close to the body here, as the distance decreases, the gravitational force increases. That's why variable force acts on them. That's why suppose this distance is say, suppose initially you consider a point here, which is at a distance say x, which is at a distance x. Here small displacement is say dx. Small displacement is dx. Of course, this distance is x. This distance is x. Small displacement is dx. Now, whenever this particle comes to the position here, what is the gravitational force acts on them? Suppose on this particle, gravitational force due to this body is in this direction only, no? Attraction force acts on the particle. Due to this attraction force, suppose the particle displaces through a small distance dx. Then what is the work done by gravity? Work done by gravity means work done by gravitational force. Work done by gravitational force in moving the particle from A to B. It is a P. Gravitational work done by gravitational force on M when it is at A. When it is at A, comma, F is equal to G into mass of this body into mass of this particle when it is at A, M, by distance square means x square. Distance square means x square. Okay. Distance square means x square. Now, so at this point, whenever the particle is there, the gravitational force of attraction acts on the particle is this one. When it is moved, because of this attraction force, the particle move in this direction. No? Whenever the particle move through a small distance from A to B through a distance dx, is there any change in the gravitational force acts on the particle? For the infinitesimally small distance, there is no considerable change in the gravitational force. So when the particle move from A to B through a distance dx, then as there is no considerable change in the force, then force into displacement dx gives the work done by gravity on the particle of mass small m to move through a distance equal to dx. That's why such work done dw is equal to work done by gravitational force on m when it is at A is given by dw is equal to f into dx. That is equal to f means g capital M small m by x square into dx. Okay, it is the work done by the gravitational force on the particle to move through a small distance dx. But what is the work done on the particle by the gravitational force in moving the particle from infinite distance to a point where gravitational interaction potential energy to be determined? That means small r is equal to infinity to, sorry, this x is equal to infinity to x is equal to r. It is x is equal to infinity, here x is equal to r. At this point, x is equal to small r. So what is the total work done by gravity? Total work done by gravity is equal to integral dw between the limits x is equal to infinity to small r. That is equal to integral dw means we have gmm by x square, g capital M small m by x square into dx now. So gmm constant you write outside. So integral x to the power of minus 2 dx, limits x is equal to infinity to small r. So g capital M small m into, when you do integration, x to the power of minus 2 plus 1 by minus 2 plus 1. That means you will get minus 1 by x, no? Limits infinity to small r. Therefore, g capital M small m of minus 1 by x means r. Before substitute lower limit, you put minus n, minus or minus plus 1 by infinity. Therefore, work done by gravity is equal to minus g capital M small m by r. This work done by gravity in bringing the point mass from infinity to a point is stored in the particle as the potential energy with respect to this, due to interaction with this one. So this is nothing but the gravitational potential energy. Therefore, gravitational interaction potential energy, or simply interaction potential energy, U is equal to minus G capital M small m by small r. It is very, very important formula. Gravitational potential energy is always negative. Gravitational potential energy is always negative. So based on here, no doubt, as it is the potential energy, SI unit is Joule only. Gravitational potential energy is always negative. You remember that point. Okay. Now, so based on the gravitational potential energy, some cases, note points, they are important. Some note points related to interaction potential energy. Note 1. Suppose for a system, initial potential energy is Ui, final potential energy is Uf. Then what is the work done by gravity? Tell me. What is the work done by gravity? So when the body is moving from infinity to R means initial point of initial distance must be lower side of the integration. Final distance is at the top of the integration. That is the rule. Okay. Ui minus, no. Work done by gravity, not work done by external agent. Work done by any type of conservative force is equal to initial potential energy minus final potential energy. In case of spring we observed. In case of spring we observed, and I2 said in case of gravitational force, if the work is done by the gravity, then initial minus final potential energy is equal to work done by gravitational force or work done by conservative force. Work done by external force, which is equal to gravitational force in magnitude. In such case, final potential energy minus initial potential energy. Already I said, Kusmakar. Okay. So work done by gravitational force or work done by conservative force is equal to initial potential energy minus final potential energy. Work done by conservative force. Because gravitational force is the conservative only, no? Conservative force. Okay. Next. Suppose there are three particles. There are three particles at the before this. Initially, there are two particles of masses m1, m2. Both are separated by distances small r1. Then what is the initial potential energy of the system of two particles? Tell me. What is the initial potential energy of the system of two particles? Whenever two bodies of masses m and small m separated by distance small r, then gravitational potential energy is equal to minus gm by r. No. Similarly, what is the initial gravitational potential energy between these two particles? G into m1 m2 by, so of course minus g into m1 m2 by r. No. That is the initial gravitational potential energy of system of two particles. Minus z into m1 m2 by r. R1, of course, it is the initial gravitational potential energy. Okay. Suppose the distance between these two particles increased by something. So final potential energy is how much? Here m1, m2. The distance between the two particles is increased by something or decreased by something like that. Here it is increased by something, so that the net distance becomes R2. Increased by something and increased by 1 centimeter. Initial distance is 10. It is increased by 1 centimeter. Then final distance is 10 plus 1. That means 11. No, 11 we had to write. Decreased by 1 centimeter means 10 minus 1, 9 centimeter we had to write. In this case, the gravitational potential energy, UF, final gravitational potential energy is equal to minus G small m1, m2 by distance R2. It is the final gravitational potential energy. Therefore, in changing the distance between the two particles from R1 to R2, what is the work done by gravity between the two particles? Gravity ante ee rendu particles madhya unna gravitational force of attraction valla enta work jarigindi. What is the work done by gravity means because of gravitational force of attraction between the two particles, what is the work done? So Wg is equal to initial potential energy minus final potential energy. Of course, you substitute these formulas there and you calculate. What is the work done by external agent in this case? Work done by external force in this case is how much? Work done by external force means minus work done by gravity. That is equal to uf minus ui. This is the formula. Work done by external force on the particle to displace it from r1 distance to r2 distance is equal to final potential energy minus initial potential energy, or negative of work done by gravity minus of work done by gravity. That is the formula. Once it was given in mains, next note point once given in mains. Third one, suppose there is a equilateral triangle. Here one more equilateral triangle is there of side A, it is 2A. Initially, three identical particles are kept at the three corners of the inner equilateral triangle of side A. Then initial potential energy of the system of three particles is equal to, you see, because of interaction between these two, potential energy is there. Because of interaction between these two, potential energy is there. Because of this also, potential energy is there. Of course, you take M1, M2, M3 like that without confusion. Okay, of course, this is A, this is also A, no? So initial potential energy is equal to potential energy between these two, between these two. All possible pairs we have to consider. Okay, so minus Z into M1, M2 by A. Next, potential energy minus, of course, all potential energies we have to add. Potential energy between these two plus potential energy between these two. As all are minus, I am writing minus. G into M2, M3. M2, M3 by A minus Z into M3, M1. So when three particles are there, how many terms you will get? 3. Suppose if 4 particles are there, how many terms you will get? If 4 particles are there at the corners of the square, like this, between these two, 4 terms are there. That's why 4 terms are there. Next, between these two also different combination, different pairs, no? With 4 particles, how many different combinations you will get? With each combination consists of 2 particles. 6. These two, and these two, different combinations. For different combinations, you find the potential energy. Distance between these two, for these two. Between these two, interaction potential energy is equal to G into M1 into M2 by this distance root 2A. Like that we have to do. Similarly, here also potential energy, this one. So whenever these particles are shifted to the corners of the equilateral triangle of side 2A, then what is the potential energy stored whenever these particles are shifted to the equilateral triangle of side 2A? At that time, whenever these particles are shifted to corners of the equilateral triangle of side 2A, but now final potential energy of the system is equal to same formula, minus Z M1 M2 by 2A minus Z M2 M3 by 2A minus Z M3 M1 by 2A. Therefore, work done by gravity in this case is how much? Means no doubt initial minus final. Work done by external force means no doubt final minus initial. That's all. Based on the given problem, we had to use this formula. If first you calculate this one and this one, if they ask work done by gravity means this formula we have to use. Work done by external force means this formula you have to use. Okay. Next. Fourth note point. Suppose there are 3 particles in a system. All lies on the same straight line, having masses M1, M2, M3. Here this distance is R1, this distance is R2. For the system to be in equilibrium, for system to be in equilibrium, already null point I said, no? Null point am I said to you or not about null point? Null point I said, okay. We need not go for this point. Okay, next you see. Suppose there is suppose this is the earth of radius capital or mass capital M. One particle having mass small m is at a height small h from the surface of the earth. Initial velocity of this particle is 0. Before reaching the surface of the earth, what is the velocity they asked? Before reaches the surface of the earth, what is the velocity? Here, whenever the particle is released, is the particle comes down or not? When the particle is released from a height h, is the particle comes down or not? Yes, it comes down. Why? Because of which force? Gravitational force. Because of gravitational force, it comes down. So whenever the particle comes down, gravitational force also acts in the same direction. That's why work is done by the gravity. Positive work is done by the gravity. Work done by gravity means it is the conservative force. When conservative force acts on the body, is the mechanical energy of the system constant or not? Mechanical energy of the particle is constant or not? Mechanical energy is constant or conserved? No. That's why we can apply the law of conservation of energy principle. So here, this is the point A say, this is the point B say. If H is by far less than radius of the earth, if H is by far less than radius of the earth, in that case, that means the particle is at smaller heights from the surface of the earth. In such case, simply the gravitational force acts on the particle remains constant, so that acceleration due to gravity remains constant. When acceleration due to gravity remains constant, then velocity acquired before reaches this point is equal to simply root 2gh. Already we derived. Whenever acceleration remains constant, then v is equal to root 2gh. Already we derived this formula, no? If H is by far greater than Kepler, or H is comparable with, if H is comparable with radius of the earth, H comparable with radius or greater than radius, comparable with R. In such case, as long as the body comes down, the distance of the body from the surface of, from the center of the earth decreases. Whenever it decreases, gravitational force increases. So variable gravitational force acts. Then acceleration due to gravity also varies. In such case, we cannot write directly this formula. In that case, what is the velocity of the body before it reaches the point? If they ask, how we can do? Okay, so here you see, as work is done by the gravity which is conservative, mechanical energy is conserved for the particle. So therefore, according to law of conservation of mechanical energy, or total energy also at any point, total energy at A is equal to total energy at B. Total energy at A means whenever the particle is here, this height is not less than, very much less than Kepler. That's why at this point, in order to write the potential energy, here the distance between this particle and center of the earth, that is equal to R plus H. We have to consider this distance when H is comparable with radius. We should not write what is the potential energy. Potential energy means we should not write directly mgh. We should not write like that. Mg small h, we should not write like that, because h is comparable with radius or greater than radius. If h is by far less than r, no doubt potential energy of the particle is mgh only. That is okay. But h is comparable with radius of the earth. In such case, total energy means whenever the particle is here, the potential energy of the system of these two is equal to minus z into capital M small m by distance between these two, means distance between this particle and center of the earth, that is equal to r plus h. No, that's why r plus h we have to write. Okay, plus kinetic energy of course earth is fixed. Earth is fixed with respect to earth we are finding. That's why earth is fixed, so it has no kinetic energy. But particle is at rest initially before it is dropped. That's why kinetic energy is also 0. Half small m into 0 is equal to, before reaches the surface of the earth, at this point, what is the potential energy? Minus z capital M small m by, before reaches the point here onto the surface of the earth, the distance of the particle from the center of the earth is equal to Kepler. That's why Kepler you write. That means on the surface of the earth, the potential energy between the particle and the earth is equal to minus gmm by Kepler, plus kinetic energy half small m into v square. So from this we can find v, no? From this we can find v. So half small m v square is equal to, bring this gmm by Kepler to left, then plus g capital M small m by Kepler, minus already here it is there, no? G capital M small m by r plus h. Therefore, you take g capital M small m common, then 1 by r minus 1 by r plus h. Here it is half m v square. M cancel. Therefore, v square is equal to 2 capital Z capital M into, when you take LCM, then you will get small h by Kepler into r plus small h. That's all. Therefore, v is equal to root of 2z capital M small h by Kepler into r plus h. It is the velocity acquired by the body before reaches the surface of the earth. velocity acquired by the body before it reaches the surface of the earth. Okay, next, fifth one. What is the time? H is by far less than R means G is equal to 9.8 or 10, we can take, no problem. Next. Suppose this is the earth. From the surface of the earth, one body is projected with a velocity u. From the surface of the earth, one body is projected with a velocity u, so that it reaches a height which is comparable with radius of the earth. It reaches a height which is comparable with radius of the earth, or nearly equal to earth, or comparable with radius of the earth. Okay, greater than, by far greater than, the height up to which the body rises is by far greater than Kepler. Say that means height to which the body rises is comparable with the radius of the earth. In such a way, the body is thrown vertically upwards with a velocity u. It is not the velocity with which the body projected so that the body reaches 100-meter height, 200-meter height, like that. The body is projected with certain velocity so that it rises to kilometers of height, 1,000 kilometer, 2,000 kilometer, like that. In such cases, as h is by far greater than r, in such case, what is the maximum height reached? Whenever the body reaches the point here, what is the velocity? That is 0. Because maximum height means at this highest point, the body cannot go upwards further. That's why v is equal to 0 here. Then what is that? What is the velocity of projection? Height may be given. What is the velocity of projection? Velocity may be given. What is the maximum height reached? They may ask like that. Okay. In such case, again, at A and B, you apply the law of conservation of energy principle. EA is equal to EB. EA means at this point, the body is having potential energy minus g capital M small m by, when the body is here, the distance between the body and earth is equal to radius of the earth only. From the center of the earth to the particle, the distance is equal to r only, no? R. Plus, as the body is projected with a velocity u, then kinetic energy half m into u square is equal to, when the body reaches the highest point, potential energy is minus g capital M small m by the distance of the body from the center of the earth is equal to r plus h, because h is this only, this distance only. So r plus h sometimes will be given from the center of the earth, the body rises to a distance equal to small r. This total distance may be given smaller. In that case, instead of r plus h, you have write smaller only. But here, from the surface of the earth, I have given the h value. That's why r plus h. Plus kinetic energy is equal to 0 as velocity is 0. This is the rule. So from this, you have to calculate h value. We can calculate. Sometimes you will be given mass of the earth is not given, g is not given. The radius of the earth will be given, and on the surface of the earth, the acceleration due to gravity is given, small g. Then small g is equal to, we can write gm by r square now. So that implies instead of g capital M, we can write small g capital R square. So in this formula, instead of capital G capital M, you write small g r square. We can write like that also. So from this relation, minus g capital M small m by r plus half m u square is equal to minus g capital M small m by r plus h. So instead of capital G capital M, we can write gr square. You write minus, here capital G capital M means g capital R square m by r plus half mu square is equal to minus g capital M means g capital R square into small m by r plus h. In all terms, we can cancel small m. R square cancel. Okay, therefore, u square by 2 is equal to, you bring this minus gr to right, then z capital R minus gr square by r plus h. You take gr common, 1 minus r by r plus h, u square by 2. Okay, therefore, u square is equal to 2gr, cross multiplication, 2gr into, when you take LCM, you will get h by r plus h, no? Therefore, u is equal to root of 2z capital H by R plus H we can write. Of course, from this only we can have capital G capital M is equal to GR square, small g R square cancel. So 2 small g capital H, sorry, 2 small g, what is the value? GR square, no? 2 small z capital H, 2 small g capital H by R plus H, you will get same. So this is also, we can do like this also. Okay. So in this way you have to do. Right. Next. Next, you see, here initially body is at a height, body is at a height h1 from the surface of the earth. A body of a particle of mass m is at a height h1. It is to be shifted to a height h2. What is the work done? That means to move the body from a height h1 to h2, what is the work done? That is the case. Work done by gravity, I am asking. Work done by gravity. So whenever the body is here, potential energy is ui. Whenever the body is here, potential energy is uf. So work done by gravity is equal to ui minus uf. What is ui? At this point, whenever the body is here, potential energy is equal to minus z capital M small m by distance of the body from the center, r plus h1. Okay, minus final potential energy minus z capital M small m by r plus h2, no? From the, whenever the body is at a height h2 from the surface, then distance is equal to r plus h2. You simplify them, you'll get answer. Work done by external agency is how much? They may ask. In such case, work done by external agency is equal to minus work done by gravity. That means uf minus ui. This is the formula. In this way, you have to do. These are the cases. Okay. Right. In next class, I will continue. Tomorrow, we have to do some important problems. Today, in our material, most of the problems you have to complete. Remaining problems, I will explain tomorrow. The remaining, whatever the problems you will not get, I will explain those problems, and some assignment problems I will explain. Today, I will send tunnel also tomorrow. Tunnel problem also tomorrow I will explain. Okay. Right.